Alright, so welcome to the video for lesson number 7, solving radical equations again. So for these questions, they were just a bit more challenging than what we did in lesson 6, but the idea is the same. So let's take a look at the first one. So the first thing I want to do is I want to try and isolate the radical. So I'll do that by adding x to the other side. Let's get a pen that actually works here. So we wind up getting the square root of 2x minus 7 equals negative 3 plus x. I actually don't like negative 3 plus x, that just looks odd. So I'm going to make that x minus 3. It's the same thing. So now from here I'm going to square both sides. So if I square both sides, I'm going to get 2x minus 7 equals x minus 3 squared. Now if you're a multiplier and you got to multiply all this out, go ahead and do it. You can make your boxes and do the whole multiplying. But if you do all of that, you're going to get x squared minus 6x plus 9. I can then move the 2x to the other side. I can add 7 to the other side. And I'm left with 0 equals x squared minus 8x plus 16. To factor that, I need to figure out what multiplies together to make 16, adds to make negative 8. Well, that's going to be x minus 4. Twice, giving me an answer of x equals 4. Now, if I go through and plug that back in, or solve it by essentially checking it in my calculator, I see that it actually does check. Let's take a look at the next one. So I'd start by subtracting 2x. So I'd have the square root of 4x minus 1 equals 2 minus 2x. Square both sides again, so I have 4x minus 1 equals 2 minus 2x squared. So that gives me 4x minus 1 equals 4 minus 8x plus 4x squared. Again, if you don't know where I'm getting that from, just go through and multiply it all out. Make your boxes, and you'll get the same answer as that, I promise. Since I want x squared to be first, I'm going to put it first. I'm going to move this to the other side and this to the other side. So I'd have plus 4x, so that's going to become negative 4x, and plus 1, so it's going to become plus 5, all equals 0. Then I want to figure out, well, actually this is negative 12, sorry. So this should be negative 12 because 8 minus 4 is 12. So now I want to figure out, well, what multiplies to make 20 that has a common factor or adds up to make negative 12, because I have to use the AC method here. So minus 10 minus 2. All right, 10 times 2 makes 20, adds up to 12, we're all good. And do my grouping. So I have 2x giving us with x minus 2x minus 5, negative 1 giving us 2x minus 5, so that works out. So I have 2x minus 5 times 2x minus 1, all still equal to 0. I'm going to get two answers here, negative 5/2 and positive 1/2. I would definitely check this right on my calculator. So I'm just going to plug it in. Just give me a second here. So I have 2x plus the square root of 4x minus 1. I make the other side 2. So essentially I'm taking everything that's here. For those of you that still don't know what I mean by that, you're taking this whole thing, you're making that y1. You're taking this, and you're making this y2. Use nice fall colors today. So if we go through and look at my graph, I see that my graph has one point of intersection. So I have to figure it out. So I'll go second, calculator trace, hit enter 3 times once I'm on a graph. And I see I get 0.5 as my answer. So 1/2 is my answer, meaning this one is rejected. Let's take a look at the third one. So here we're ready to just go through and start squaring. There's nothing for me to do. So if I square both sides, I'm going to get x plus 4 equals 3 plus the square root of x squared. Again, if you're not good at the mental math part, it's totally fine, right? Do it all out this way. So you're going to get 9, 3 square roots of x, 3 square roots of x, and just x. So it's going to become x plus 4 equals 9 plus 6x plus x. 6 square root of x. Then we could go through and try and get that square root by itself. So I'd subtract 9, subtract x. Yay, look at that, the x's cancel. So you have negative 5 equals 6 square root of x. Divide by 6. And I have negative 5 over 6 equals the square root of x. And I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to check this on my calculator, but right now, at this moment in time, I know x has no solution because a square root can equal a negative value. But just to check it, I'm going to graph the two sides of my equation. So I'm going to graph the square root of x plus 4 and 3 plus the square root of x. Hit graph, and I will see that these two lines never touch each other. No solution means no points of intersection. So that means we're in good shape. We did the right thing by saying no solution there. Let's take a look at this last one. This one's kind of tough. First thing I would do here would be make a common denominator, right? So if I have a common denominator, I don't have to worry about the denominators anymore. So I'd have x minus 1 times the square root of x plus 11 equals 1. Where the heck am I getting that? Well, I know the common denominator is the square root of x plus 11. The first and last fraction already have that denominator, but this middle one, well, it doesn't. So I'd multiply that middle one by square root of x plus 11 on both top and bottom. And then I'm looking to just take the numerators. I'd subtract x to the other side. So I'd have negative square root of x plus 11 equals 1 minus x. I don't want the negative. So I'd have the square root of x plus 11 is equal to x minus 1. That's what this comes out to be. Square both sides. X plus 11 is equal to x squared minus 2x plus 1. Right, that's what I get if I square this. Again, if you're not good at squaring it, you could do it off to the side, right? X minus 1, and make your boxes. Move the x to the other side in the 11. So I wind up having 0 equals x squared minus 3x minus 10, which totally has two factors of minus 5 and positive 2, which gives us answers of 5 and negative 2. Now this one definitely is a little bit harder to check in your calculator, right, because of the radicals and the denominator and all that stuff. So I would actually just check this one with mental math. So let's just kind of talk through it. So if I have 5, square root of 5 plus 11 is 16, square root of 16 is 4. So I have 5/4 minus 1 equals 1/4. That's true, right? So 5 totally works. If I have negative 2, that's going to be a 9, so square root of 9 is 3. So I have negative 2/3, right? So I have negative 2/3 minus 1. Is that equal to 1/3? It's not. So we can check that in our calculator and see that that one doesn't work either. Hopefully this video helps. I know this last one's really tough. I probably wouldn't ask that on a quiz or a test, but the other ones are pretty much fair game, so I'd be kind of prepared for any of those other three. Okay? Hopefully this is helping. Remember, you have a quiz coming up and a test even sooner. All right? Good luck. Hopefully you're doing all your homework.